power of a teacher. Today my darling child came home from school, again with pearls of wisdom, her most current tool. I sent her off with the idea that important knowledge she would indeed seek, but the lessons I am learning are not for those who are weak. How did I go from the smartest person in her world to date to one looked upon as second rate? Where in the world is my child being led? If I hear one more time, but my teacher said. No, Mommy, that's not the way it's done. Mommy, how can you say that? The West wasn't won. I must become a change agent, guided by the whole story. Studying the African Holocaust or Reconstruction reveals little glory, unless, of course, your focus is on resilience. But few textbooks do that, and it makes little sense. Mom, surely you must have forgotten. Terrorist activity did not begin with bin Laden. I've been usurped by the power of a teacher.
Today my darling child came home from school, again with pearls of wisdom, his most current tool. I sent him off with the idea that important knowledge he would indeed seek, but the lessons I am learning are not for those who are weak. How did I go from the smartest person in the world to date to the one looked upon as second rate? Where in the world is my child being led? If I hear one more time, but my teacher said, I've been usurped by the power of a teacher. No, Dad, my teacher said that work is just too hard. Miss Taylor said, do only the even numbers and fill out this card. Mr. Williams said, I cannot write, so we just fill in the blanks. I'm not taking the SAT. Coach said, if I keep playing ball, no one will care about my rank. We don't study the hard stuff. Teacher said, she understands my life has been rough. Why are you talking about the importance of thinking? Miss Robinson said too much brain activity in her class could drive her to drinking. Dad, you just don't understand. The teacher just wants me to pretend to get all out of life that I can. I've been usurped by the power of a teacher.
If the clarion call is for culturally responsive teachers, culturally responsive leadership, and most important, culturally responsive servant leadership, it's time for educators, it's time for teachers and families and students to wake up, not only wake up, but to get up. And once they get up, to speak up, stay up, put up or shut up, and most important, partner up. Partner up for the importance of collaboration to move beyond the same historical treatment across this state, across this country, for ineffective and incomplete academic outcomes for children of color. Many children suffer more from ABT than they do having emotional disturbances, learning disabilities, cognitive disabilities. Many children, quite simply, ain't been taught, according to James Patton from the College of William and Mary, that many children have not received what is necessary for them to be successful. Dr. Van Zant Chambers from Texas A&M University calls it a receivement gap rather than an achievement gap, because her theory is that children have not received what's necessary for them to do well in school. The state of Wisconsin, in their bold initiative, is systematically and systemically examining the impact of a concept called instructional racism. By definition, instructional racism is any educational practice that has predictable negative outcomes based on a faulty premise of need that impacts disproportionately by race. Now, many individuals would say, can you just say that in English? Yes, homework as an example. We know from the research, and especially from a meta-analysis done the last 10 years of the 20th century, that homework makes a difference. Meaningful homework makes a difference in the academic lives of most of the children that we serve in public schools. How does that translate? Children who do homework do better on their academic outcomes, whether it's a classroom exam or a standardized exam. So whether it's the state Wisconsin assessment test or whether it's the National Assessment of Educational Progress, when children practice what we teach, they do better. So that is a predictable educational practice. If we do not provide that homework, there are predictable negative outcomes. Many children will suffer, and that suffering will impact disproportionately by race. So if we look at African American learners in the state of Wisconsin, if we look at Latino learners in the state of Wisconsin, if we look at many Native American learners in the state of Wisconsin, not having consistent homework is having a significant impact on their academic outcomes. Instructional racism is a concept that the state of Wisconsin says no more. Then what do we do to counteract instructional racism? We provide culturally responsive pedagogy by developing and supporting culturally responsive learning communities. That means that throughout the state of Wisconsin, we as administrators, teachers, service providers, dig down and are willing to do the hard work necessary to create schools and outcomes that are equitable and socially just. Well, how do we do that? How do we motivate teachers? How do we motivate families? How do we motivate children? First, we must embrace the reality. That means adopt or take up something as a belief and a way of life. We must assist teachers in embracing the diversity, the growing diversity of the state of Wisconsin. Not just as something that's new, because it's not new, but a renewed response to say that all finally means all. And in that process of reconstructing what happens in public schools across the state of Wisconsin, it means we celebrate something special in helping teachers understand that difference does not mean deficit. And we inculcate and we inundate teachers, families, children with outcomes that say we will honor and teach all children in the state of Wisconsin. How do we do that? That means we meet children where they are and we take children where they need to go. That means we meet teachers where they are and we take them where they need to go by being data-driven, by being equity conscious.